January 11th, 1908, Grand Canyon National Monument is created. The monument, not the canyon. Welcome to The Revisionists. I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
And we have a favorite on the show for y'all tonight.
The favorite. Starring
the favorite with
Olivia
Saoirse
Colman.
Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan is not in The Favorite.
She is not. That is right. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. It's Olivia Colman and Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone.
Oh, God.
I guess
Emma
you're thinking
Stone.
of Little Women?
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, yes. Also, Ben Bryant is here in addition to the film The Favorite.
How little are those women?
They're...
Is it a physical littleness or an emotional, or what's the deal?
Well, they're on a big screen, so they're actually much larger than a
yeah,
human.
they are larger.
Regular-sized women.
I mean, I
you
guess
take
it depends.
one little and one big.
On once the film is released on DVD, depending on your or Blu-ray or streaming, depending on your viewing preference, they could be very small. They could fit on your iPhone screen.
Yeah, exactly.
In the trailer, they certainly have fit on my iPhone screen before. That's pretty little.
Man, who watches a whole movie on an iPhone that's not, like, on an airplane? Do people, like, choose that as the way to watch things?
I assume some people do.
I have done it on the toilet. So
I think it's that psychopath test is if you pee your bed until you're in 5th grade, if you like to burn things, if you choose to watch movies on your iPhone.
It falls under, like, Nintendo Switch rules, where it's, like, the portability is the hook, but the experience isn't where it should be. Yeah. I mean, I like the Switch. Why am I defending a corporation? I don't give a shit. What am I doing?
Shigeru Miyamoto listens to this.
I mean, in the defense of the phone, it's not the primary purpose of the phone to watch movies on it.
Man, see, that brings up a great separate point, is what is the primary purpose of a phone? The modern capital P phone. Is it to call people? I sure as shit don't call people on the phone.
It could be texting, depending on who you are.
Man, I don't text.
Social
I message.
media?
I message across a zillion different social media things. So I guess psychopathy or
constant internet access is one of them.
Yeah, that's mine. Constant internet access is the actual purpose of the modern phone. Yeah, okay. Hey, solving modern problems on the History Podcast.
I mean, I guess
pretty
we could
good, everyone.
rank the purposes of the modern phone. But that's not usually what we do on this podcast.
But, yes.
Yeah.
They're in the top 5, probably.
Yeah.
Great Coke mirror.
Yeah. For me, podcasts, in fact, are one of the primary uses of my phone.
Mm-hmm.
People are listening to a podcast right now. They know what it's about.
Yeah.
That's
Not this
I
one,
only
but they're
listen
listening
to
a podcast.
I only listen to podcasts on my TV.
Yeah.
I have done that.
That would be the fucking truest psychopathy test. If you watched movies on your phone and listened to podcasts on your TV.
Both of which I've just admitted to doing.
Oh.
Okay, well, you are, I assume, either a psychopath or deeply stupid. Like, you have failed to adapt to modern times. You're like a knight that came from the past. You, like, got frozen, and then you were unfrozen. Brian, it took you so long to stop calling and start using text messages. I'm not lying. When we started this podcast, for the first 2.5 years we did this podcast, he always called instead of text messaging me.
Is that true?
At the beginning, you totally did. And it was
that might be true. Yeah.
Were you like a slow responder on text? And he's like, I've got to get through to him immediately.
It was the first attempt to connect.
It
wasn't like I failed to respond and then the call came. It was the first attempt.
Here's what it was. I had it wasn't like a full-on like sidekick phone, but it was one of the ones where you slid it out and it had like the keyboard.
What it was
that keyboard was fucked.
You were a Victorian dandy who was frozen in a block of ice. And then you were unfrozen and you don't understand.
I'm a little fascinated by Brian's media consumption choices. It seems almost defiant intentionally. Like, it's just like, I don't need rules.
I wish I still had the energy to be intentionally defiant of anything.
That's even better than when you're just organically that, like left of center. And I know it seems like it's shaming it, but it's not. It's fascination, and I think it's endearing.
But this podcast is not about my media habits.
That's true.
Do you read by candlelight, but specifically your Kindle? Do you read your Kindle?
Yes, I make my own
Candle.
candles and read
He
my
did use a typewriter for a very long time.
I did, and I wish I still could.
For what?
Like writing sketches and stuff.
Okay.
Mainly because a typewriter doesn't have Facebook on it. So I could like actually get my fucking work done.
Yeah, I get that. I thought I just hoped you weren't like typing up a fresh copy of like a resume every time you needed to submit one or something.
Oh god, that would have been the worst.
I guess people probably did have to do that back in the day. Did they have resumes back in the day, or did you just walk into a shop and be like, I used to work at Henry's? How did hiring work before? You couldn't check anything. There was no paper trail. You weren't going to follow up.
I heard a story on another podcast that I won't mention because we need to focus on the revisionists. But when in like the old days of Hollywood, they needed like fresh scripts all the time. And it was someone's specific job to go to like a copy place. There was a whole place dedicated just to copying. They had the only way to do it. I don't even know if it was like conventional copy machines, and it took like 2 hours, and that was someone's entire position at a studio. Which, imagine being fucking replaced by Microsoft Word. Like that's a tough let go,
motherfucker.
We will all eventually be replaced by some sort of robot, but for now, comedy cannot be produced by the artificial intelligent
Definitely
mind.
can't be produced by that.
And it can't be produced by us either, but we try. Anyway, this is a podcast in which we look at a person or event or thing from history, usually a person or event, because I don't know what thing... The Ark of the Covenant? I don't know.
The meteor.
Yeah, just the meteor. The dinosaur one, or just a meteor?
The meteor we have been taught to fear since time immortal.
So yeah, the meteor, for instance. And then somebody gives the true story
to fear,
of
like
that
it's unreasonable
person or event or meteor. And then somebody gives a batshit bananas, as crazy as they want it to be, alternate version of that person, event, or meteor. And we vote at the end on what becomes the true story of this brilliant blue spinning marble we call the Earth. Going forward, iridescent, irreverent, war-torn marble we call the Earth.
Yeah,
Going
Jesus.
forward.
More of an off beige marble.
Yeah,
after the
it's
ocean's
slowly
dry.
becoming more brown. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So that is basically the premise. We are on a kick about famous authors. The last two episodes were about James Tiptree Jr., a.k.a. Alice Sheldon, if I remember correctly. The alternate history, which involved her having, like, a demonic, dark urge involving the creation of Garfield that was eventually taken up by Jim Davis. One in that particular case. And for Louisa May Alcott, author of the aforementioned Little Women, who in the original novel was so little they could fit all in your hand.
Man, those Little Women love lasagna. That's what I took away from the movie.
Yeah.
They could not get enough, and they hated Mondays, and they're always fighting with that dog Odie. I'm just recalling the plot of Garfield. It's not a joke. I apologize.
Yeah, all relevant to Garfield. The alternate one in that case, too, in which weird communes became the norm in America. Because the weird Fruitland commune that Louisa May Alcott actually lived on for a while flourished. And those and the actual Little Women novel did not become a hit until many, many, many years later. So those are the versions that won the last two times. And we're continuing our authors episode. I did not do the research and have forgotten who it's about.
Oh,
Christopher Marlowe.
Christopher Marlowe. All right, I think, I believe, Brian, you're doing the actual?
Yes, indeed.
All right. I guess we could jump in then, right? Anything else to discuss? Have we tabled all of the old issues, the new issues?
I will preface this by saying I was up late at a late night screening of Cats last night, so my brain is not fully working.
The old one?
No, yeah, the 1930s Cats. Where it was actually pre-code and way hornier.
I think Cats is like that thing where there's a Patton Oswalt bit where he says, like, talking erotically when you're trying not to be R-rated is somehow much more disgusting. Cats definitely falls in that purview. Emphasis on perv. Perv view. Correct.
Do you guys think the whole thing is just covert furry propaganda? Like,
it's not even covert.
Not even that there's anything wrong with that, but just it seems like it started with Space Jam and it's just gotten out of hand since then, or gotten into hand. We're finally where we need to be socially.
I don't know. It might be the first film that furries see and are turned off because of the uncanny valley.
I guess they also have a little bit of furry insurance because it's so heavy, like CGI. It doesn't like lend itself to weirdos with like a Disney fascination. It lends itself only to weirdos with like a lot of experienced 3D modeling. And there's just simply going to be less of that Venn diagram who are that into 3D modeling who are also furries.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that 100% of people into 3D modeling are into furry.
But Disney is the gateway into furrydom. Robin Hood, the Robin Hood animated movie, launched 1,000 furries, I'm sure.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
Lola Rabbit? Come on. That wasn't Disney, but still.
Yeah, that was Michael Jordan specifically. He said, give me a hot bunny or I walk from this fucking movie.
Yep.
Damn it. Christopher Marlowe was not a furry as far as we can tell. So Christopher Marlowe, aka Kit Marlowe.
He has a persona.
Yeah, Kit Marlowe. He was a red panda. Or an I don't know. Something adorable. Which, if you've seen pictures of him, he actually kind of looks like an I
have to find this.
He was born sometime in like February 1564. We know he was baptized on the 26th, so he's probably born somewhere around there. The same year as little Billy Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. His father was a shoemaker in Canterbury, and his mother was named Catherine.
You were not kidding. He looks a lot like fucking
an I. Right.
Wow.
So eventually, Christopher Marlowe went to Cambridge University on a scholarship. I don't know how this worked back then, where there was a full ride, whether he played basketball.
Did they have money back then?
Some people, yes.
So like now.
Sort of, yeah, basically, yeah, exactly. He got his BA in 1584. And then he kept going, trying to get his master's.
Wait, what was it he got the scholarship for again?
I don't know, basketball. It just it's like it doesn't say like why he got. I think just because like he showed academic.
Oh,
promise.
I see. Okay, I did not. I assumed.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What even was academic promise? That just basic literacy?
Don't know.
You know,
much,
13 of the 26 letters.
It's also just like I can't imagine they're doing like entrance essays or something.
Z.
Z's a tough one, to be fair.
They call it Zed in Australia.
They do. That's why part of the reason why it's so tricky.
In 1857, he had basically earned his master's degree, but the university didn't want to give it to him. This is mainly due to a rumor that he wanted to go to the seminary in Reims, France. I don't know if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And study to be a Catholic priest. And this was after Henry VIII and sort of the Protestant Reformation in England. Mm-hmm. But at this point, and this is where things start to get a little spicy, the Privy Council Queen Elizabeth's Privy Council intervened on his behalf. And the Privy Council is all the dudes who are like the Queen's closest advisors.
Okay.
They're called the fucking Privy Council?
Yeah, it's the most English fucking thing.
That sounds like a bunch of dudes just poking each other like with their elbows going, are you privy? I'm privy. Privy to what? Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Ooh, I'm pretty privy.
I love the Bullwinkle-esque accent. So yeah, they intervened and said to the scholars of Cambridge that they believe Marlowe should be awarded his master's degree, and they commended him for his service to the Queen, which was a matter they kept secret, which has led to a lot of speculation, and it seems plausible, even pretty likely, that Marlowe was a spy for Queen Elizabeth, under the service of her spy master, Francis Walsingham.
Spy master, Jesus Christ.
And
That's
Walsingham.
That's so, on brand British. Dangerously on, almost like they workshopped it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's the spy master, also covered in orange marmalade. So Marlowe was acquainted with a relative of Walsingham, so they did sort of have an in with him. There are a couple theories as to where he did his spy work. That maybe he served as a tutor to Arbella Stuart, who was the niece of Mary, Queen of Scots, and the cousin of James VI, the King of Scotland. That he went under the cover of Thomas Morley to help her study and keep an eye on the Catholic court up in Scotland.
Man, Queen of Scots would be such a fucking good drag name. That would...
There's got to be a pun in there somewhere.
But if your name is actually Scott, yeah. Your real name is Scott.
All right, sit down.
That's a bonus, yeah. You have the thick... You gotta, don't model it so much on, Christopher, Peter Capaldi, and more on the girl from Brave, who's like...
Yeah, I was going to say...
If you could change your fate, if you could change your dress, would you?
People would fucking pay to hear...
You could change your fate if you could lip sync for your life. That's the worst.
Just the burliest queen just roasting you at breakfast. She would make so much in tips.
If you could lip sync to these bits were made for walking, would you?
We've discussed Zach's Scottish accent before and how it's perfect. Oh man. There are arrest records that show Marlowe was in London around the same time, but there's no definitive proof that he couldn't have been in Scotland in a similar time frame. Mm-hmm. Another suggestion was that he was stationed in France at the time of the French wars of religion, and was there for the St. Bartholomew's massacre. Partly this is because he later wrote a play called The Massacre at Paris, where there's a silent English agent character who sort of observes the whole thing. So...
Was his name Christopher Danger?
No, it was Christopher Longdick.
Okay.
It's gross. So he gets into writing plays. His first play is called Dido, Queen of Carthage.
How do you fall into writing plays? How is that? That seems like you got to put a pretty concentrated effort towards that as even a hobby, much less a career.
Yeah, true. I could have phrased that better.
I mean, I guess there's 4 people who could fucking read and write.
Yeah.
So just the competition, just your plays got published immediately. Exactly. And there's 10 people in the village. 4 of them are actors. All right, sorry.
No, that's okay. Dido, Queen of Carthage. Two of his biggest plays of the time were Tamburlaine the Great and Tamburlaine the Great Part 2. The Revenge.
It's like when it's Sister Act with Sister Act 2.
Yeah,
when you've got a good thing, keep it going.
Part 2 back in the habit.
Clearly not the best playwright, because it would have been called Tamburlaine the Greater.
No, Tamburlaine the New Batch.
Yeah.
he wrote a play about the life of Edward II called Edward II, which was really just chock full of sort of homosexual themes.
It was a sung-through hip-hop musical.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like an In the Heights pun for like something of the time.
They're making a movie about it.
Yeah, I got a preview of that before Cats, and I was like, oh no, don't show me a trailer for a good movie musical before I see Cats. And this led people to speculate that Marlowe himself was gay. This might also have to do with just the rumors that surrounded Edward II and his sort of his favorite at court. So unclear. His most famous play to
Bringing it back to The Favorite, which is, of course, here with us.
Yes, of course. Play it. His most famous play in the modern day is Dr. Faustus.
I thought that was more modern, to be honest.
Well, the Goethe version
I see. Okay,
is
that's
more modern. It's one of those plays that has been like written in different iterations by several different people.
okay.
Fucking Shakespeare really fucking loved Marlowe's Faustus like real big. And then he wrote another play called The Jew of Malta.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who amongst us has not began a title with the Jew? Oh, hell yeah. I got
that's like
cat on my lap now.
That's like an open micer's first sketch they've ever written.
The Jew of San Francisco. There's poop everywhere. It's so expensive. I can't believe these restaurants.
Wait, is that a thing about San Francisco, that there's poop everywhere?
Yeah, it's some like weird right-wing talking point, how there's like a big homeless population and there's a lot of poo everywhere. But I have never been, so I don't know the validity.
The Jew of San Francisco is, I assume, the sequel to The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
I was just thinking that.
I've had a very interesting upbringing, I'll tell you that much. It's not easy being black and Jewish in San Francisco. Especially with this voice and trying to break into hip-hop musicals.
Musicals, not music, musicals.
Yeah, no, exclusively.
The theater scene in San Fran is off of the hook, it is.
It was the way you hit the K in Hook that really sold it for me. So, the play was written like within 300 years of the expulsion of the Jews from England. And England at this time has been seen as the source of a lot of Europe's anti-Semitic propaganda.
I will say, within
Whoa.
300 years is a very gracious... Like,
Yeah.
America has not existed for 300 years.
Which is true. But just to show the climate, I guess, that there were Jewish people living in England, London especially, but mainly undercover.
It's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just... It feels
Oi,
weird to be
matey,
like-
look at me. I'm English, I am. I
play
would
was-
love some biscuits and tea.
If I wrote a play right now that was weirdly like royalist and people are like, it was within 300 years of the Revolutionary War.
True. I should say right now, I meant to say this off the bat. My primary sources for this were a little bit from the book The Tudors by Peter Ackroyd, and Sweet Mother Wikipedia.
Yeah, I was shocked you got like book sources. That's wild. I'm all internet if I need anything.
I will say, just as a plug, Peter Ackroyd has like right now it's a 5-volume, and I think it's going to stay a 5-volume history of England that is very readable and fun. So anyway, Marlowe also wrote a bunch of poems and shit. I didn't expand on that in my notes, I guess.
It says poems and shit.
Yeah. He's been described as a spy, a brawler, a heretic, a magician, a duelist.
A joker, a midnight toker. Some people call him, of course.
When they
Maurice.
say when they say
Christopher Danger.
when they say duelist, they're of course referring to he plays Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep.
That's what they mean. Deep cut cartoon riff. Right, kitty? Yeah.
Duelist, counterfeiter, rake, and tobacco user.
Oh.
Is that verboten back then?
Yeah. I don't know if it was like, I think it was like something that was sort of socially still a little risque, I guess. And there's a lot of myth that attached itself to him. There's a lot of speculation that he was sort of either secretly Catholic or secretly an atheist.
That's pretty wide.
One of the two.
One of the two. Both would have been probably equally bad in like public life in England at the time.
I feel like in this author series, it's like there's always rumors of secret gayness. Now there's a lot of rumors of like secret atheism, secret Catholicism. It's just they're secretly anything. There's rumors they're secretly whatever the fuck.
So in May 1593, some posters go up around like parts of London that were threatening Protestant refugees who were coming from France. And one like set of posters was written in iambic pentameter, like Marlowe liked to write, contains several allusions to Marlowe plays, and was signed Tamburlaine, like his two famous plays. So they arrested Marlowe's friend, Thomas Kidd.
Oh.
And he snitches out Marlowe, saying he's a blasphemous and cruel man. So on May 18th, a warrant is issued for Marlowe's arrest, and on the 2 days later, he appears before the Privy Council to like answer the charges. But then he's told like, "Oh yeah, the council's not meeting today. Keep coming back every day until we tell you not to." So he does.
Frat hazing.
Yeah. No. Then he had to drink some mead out of one of the Privy Council's butt cheeks.
Hey, I heard rumors you're gay. Let's see if that's true. You want to join our fraternity? That's also fucking. I lost the thread a little bit.
You have to pass this orange from my neck to your neck. I don't know what fraternity hazing looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You nailed it.
It's a lot of slumber party games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They play
GoldenEye, right?
They play that MASH game with the paper that you fold back and forth. Yeah. Oh,
Give me
you
a
get to
number.
live in a shack married to LeBron James.
Oh, God damn it. So then on May 30th, 12 days after the warrant is issued, Marlowe is killed. He is staying in a house where he's going and checking out the Privy Council every day, and he's stabbed to death in the house. There's no real, like, definitive narrative for what happened. The most common theory, or the most common theory at the time, I should say, was that he was killed by, quote, a body-serving man as punishment for his atheism.
I think
What? I mean, pardon my massive ignorance on really pretty much any subject that isn't a cartoon. A fucking what?
A body-serving man. I guess
Yeah.
like a Bugs Bunny type.
it's like I think it's in one of the Monster Manual expansions, Challenge Rating 2, a body serving man.
A body serving man sounds like a fucking bouncer mixed with a lucha wrestler. What the fuck even? Does he gather corpses? Does he just...
Oh, sorry, body. BAWDY. No, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, not a man who serves bodies.
Yeah, no. Sorry, it's the damn
Man.
Midwest accent.
Dude, no, it's these fucking British terms. Don't blame yourself. That's the problem with the British. They're trying. They pull some bullshit and they try and make you feel bad about it. It's just fucking talk and be normal. Let's get to the haberdashery. What the fuck are you talking about?
This has clearly been getting under your skin for some time. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm declaring war on England. Fuck it. Fuck them, dude.
We
No,
already
we
have a
can't-
lot on our plate, Warlock.
Yeah,
Let's take it one at a time.
It's been a crazy 90 minutes, y'all.
Yeah.
Jesus.
A crazy 3 days and a crazier 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when does this go out? The 11th?
Yeah, by
yeah.
then, who
knows?
knows?
Yeah, people would be trading podcasts for brass by then, so...
Which is a great deal, because brass is tangible and worth something. So the other popular theory at the time was that he was killed in a dispute over the bill for the house he was staying at. The bill was known at the time as a reckoning, which is just kind of cool. And he was killed in self-defense by the other party because he started attacking them. That's the theory. Other theories.
The ultimate dine and dash.
Diners, drive-ins, and dash. Jealous of her husband Thomas's relationship with Marlowe, Audrey Walshingham arranged for the playwright to be murdered. Sir Walter Raleigh, a member of the Privy Council, arranged the murder, fearing that under torture, Marlowe might incriminate him. Doesn't say in what. The murder resulted from attempts by the Earl of Essex to use Marlowe to incriminate Raleigh. He was killed on the orders of father and son Lord Burghley and Sir Robert Cecil, who thought that his plays contained Catholic propaganda.
Wait, I lost it. Is this a list of everyone who wanted him dead and why?
Like
or these are all the
theories,
theories of why he
These are all like the theories.
He's like
and they're all
listing
like
JFK.
like,
oh, it's the mafia. It was Castro. It was
I see.
Don from the Fix-It shop.
He was accidentally killed while the owners of the house were pressuring him to pay back money he owed them. He was murdered at the behest of the Privy Council, who feared he might reveal them to be atheists. The Queen ordered his assassination because of his subversive atheistic behavior. He was murdered because one of the owners of the house envied Marlowe's close friendship with his master.
At a certain point, there's a number of theories where it just becomes meaningless how many theories there are.
Yeah. And then finally, Marlowe's death was faked to save him from trial and execution for subversive atheism.
Ooh, I like that one.
Well, you're not the only one, because the Marlowe faked his death thing is sort of the fuel for like one of basically the most well-known thing about Marlowe at this point in history, which is that there's a group of people who believe that Shakespeare's plays were not written by Shakespeare, and that Christopher Marlowe was actually the author of a great many of them, which is not really true in any way, but it sort of comes from the faked his death thing.
Well, they made a movie about it, so it must be true.
Oh God, what was
Space
that?
Jam Rules? Yeah,
It was called Anonymous.
Oh, right. The most like forgettable name for a movie.
Yeah, it was by somebody relatively famous who believed that Christopher Marlowe wrote all those plays.
Like Oliver Stone, or like, because that seems like
That
sort of
seems
shitty.
very Oliver Stone, but I think it was somebody else. Roland Emmerich.
Oh Jesus, what? I was not expecting that of all things. The man behind Independence Day.
Mhm.
Okay, and The Day After Tomorrow.
Isn't there speculation that like Shakespeare isn't like an individual, but was like a collective? Was basically like a Brockhampton or like an Odd Future?
Yeah.
Is this real, or I'm making this up?
There is speculation about that. There is no like evidence really to support it, but yeah,
That's my favorite kind of theory.
Also, I love just
can
like
I
the use of
interest you in
Brockhampton.
QAnon, perhaps?
Where Shakespeare put out 2 great albums and then a third that was kind of like had its moments. After he died, he receives a lot of tributes from contemporaries. Shakespeare quotes Marlowe in As You Like It, and I wrote tributes him in a later line. Don't know what that means in context.
No, I think I know what that is, actually. It's in Act 2 of Hamilton, where Hamilton, Jesus Christ, Hamlet! Fucking ill-read dumb shit. Hamlet! It's in Act 2 of Hamlet! When Hamlet takes an aside, and he's like, "Oh, look at me, I'm Marlowe, I'm a big dumb idiot, and I fucking died." And then it just goes back to
yeah, people long
stuff.
thought that fucking Jeffrey Ross wrote that, like the Roastmaster General. Jesus. But that's
Hey Marlowe, you got more debts than a guy with a lot of debts.
all right.
I don't know who that's not what
Now
Jeff
let's
Ross
bring up
sounds
Lisa
like.
Lampanelli.
Yeah.
But that's the actual history of Christopher Marlowe.
All right. So on to the alternate then.
Okay, Christopher. Can I use your notes as a vague beat sheet?
I don't know how it will help, but
ooh, this is a lot of stuff in the margins about the Jews. It's not true.
That's not true.
Not true at all.
This is the second episode in a row where my tolerance for other people has been impugned.
Let's just partner around on a podcast.
Positive. You could have been learning about their traditions out of respect for learning another culture.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It's a lot.
That's not what it is, but it could have been that.
I mean, I'll just describe it to people because they can't see it because this is an audio medium. There's a lot of Stars of David with like question marks next to it. Like he doesn't understand it, and there's a pros and cons. There's a pros and cons T chart.
Is this a ninja star? Conspiracy? Sorry, that's not something I should put out there. It's not true.
I mean, it's a pointier than a ninja star. I don't know how it would fly. But there's a pros and cons T chart, and on one side of it is a Star of David, and the other side's a swastika. So I mean, make it of that.
That is not in there, listeners. It's mainly drawings of cats. If you flip through it,
Cats from 2019's Cats, which is actually worse than the other thing.
Yeah, there's just a whole page spread of Rum Tum Tugger.
No, Brian's not a bigot in any way. Everyone, we're just doing bits. But much more problematic, his notes are written in cursive.
That is true. Yeah, that's true.
Which I didn't know there were people alive that weren't my grandmother that still did that.
Brian was Victorian dandy frozen in an iceberg.
It's really legible
I
cursive.
Went to Catholic school.
That also explains his suspicion of Jewish people.
Again, not suspicious of Jewish people. I'm related to several.
You wrote Privy Council in print, though.
Yeah.
Everything else is not.
Oh, yeah.
Which doesn't mean anything. I'm just giving y'all content. Anyway, Christopher Marlowe, here's what truly happened. He was born in 1564, which is also his PIN code, which is the same.
Finally, got it.
Which I don't know if you knew this, but it's the same year as prolific rap group Will.I.Am Shakespeare.
Rap group Will.I.Am Shakespeare.
There's no evidence to that, but it's my theory that Will.I.Am Shakespeare is a bunch of people. It's like Beyonce and James Blake. Anyway, we're getting Christopher Marlowe was a half human, half AI hybrid in the style of Cats, and he was given us a scholarship to Birdbridge. Came.
My handwriting is not that bad.
I'm just trying. No. I'm trying to think of a fucking animal pun, and I can't. Caged bird. There it is. Caged Bird University, where he got that BA. Yeah, which stands for. I'm a chicken. Okay, all right. Let's fucking focus.
Yeah, that's what I've been putting on my resume for years.
But it was the England's back in 1500s where it was somehow even more ridiculous and even more Charles Dickens novel than in the time of Charles Dickens. So he got into a little bit of trouble. He started some problem in the lunchroom where people you have to go to lunch in 1500s because there was no other way to get lunch just at your college. He got in trouble with the Pretty Bird Council, which is a series of cockatiel and parrot hybrids.
God, they got a lot more sinister.
Well, cockatiel person and then a parrot person.
Yeah, no, that didn't make it better.
Well, they're all. It's an animal university. They're all friends. Well, I mean, they have their own social dynamics within the university. But that's merely a backdrop to his entire life. That's just fun lore that you get to fill in internally, like the bad parts of Star Wars. Anyway. So the Pretty Bird Council was under the command of the Queen, who, she'd be like, That's her accent back then. That's actually what Old English sounded like.
I assume she was also some kind of animal based on the noise.
I was gonna guess like a side character in the Peanuts universe.
She had a lot going on. Quick side note: have you ever heard anyone speak like they have it at the Globe, like actual Old English Shakespearean performances, and you can see some videos of them on YouTube. It's fucking incomprehensible.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about how in like a time travel plot you would like go back in time somewhere and try and speak English, and no one would have any fucking clue what the hell you're saying, even in England recently. Anyway, that's just a side note. So then a bunch of history happened. He left the university to be a spy, like in Frankie Muniz in the Frankie Muniz movie where he's a kid, but he's also a spy. It's not Spy Kids.
It's not Spy Kids. It's
Secret Agent Cody Banks. Thank you.
Okay.
Brockhampton.
Yeah, thank you. You picked up on it. Good listen. I didn't know you're such a Hampton head.
Yeah, big ol' H-town.
Anyway, so Secret Agent Cody Banks, Christopher Marlowe, the II, he was traveling around a little bit until he ended. There's some people that say he ended up in France, or some people who say he ended up in Italy, Spain. There's also some people who say he stayed at home and just worked on himself and went to his parents' cabin and released a solo acoustic album to great acclaim. No one's really sure.
Very Bon Iver.
What happened. And anyway, so after his album popped off, he was like, I'm pretty good at... I'm a white guy. I think I'm probably pretty good at anything I try. So he became an author immediately, despite his bachelor's degree being in milkshake science. They were trying to invent milkshakes, and they got close.
It's amazing that they have a whole degree in milkshake science that they haven't even been invented yet.
Well, I mean, you could get a degree in theoretical physics, so why wouldn't you be able to get a degree in milkshake? Yeah. So he wrote a bunch of shit. Now, right around this time, Shakespeare also wrote Hamlet, and there's one line in there that Marlowe loved, and it was the line about infinite jest. And he was like, if I ever write a book, I'm going to call it Infinite Jest. and then he did, and it was great. And everyone's like, this is pretty good. This is like a lot. This is a lot. There was a lot of flipping back and forth, but they had time for footnotes back then, and
sure.
The way it all came together at the end. The bit was it makes you reread it. Like, okay, I don't need to explain Infinite Jest to people for a history podcast. Anyway, so he writes Infinite Jest. He immediately gets canceled. Too problematic. So he's canceled. And
at the time, I assume too problematic is too tolerant of Jewish people.
So they're like, we gotta have this guy whacked, because like there was no Twitter to cancel people on back then. You had to just murder them face to face, and I think we miss that level of human interaction nowadays.
People should put down their phones and kill each other.
So. He was staying at a ye old Hampton Inn, littered with E's, by the way. Ye had 5 E's, old had 6, Hampton had 3, and Inn had none, because otherwise then it would say Inny. Anyway, so he's at the ye old Hampton Inn, and the guy's like, did you enjoy your stay? And Marlowe was like, yes, I wrote Infinite Jest. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know what that means. I can't read. Here's your bill, I assume. My manager handed me this slip. I assume it has money denominations on it. And Marlowe's like, nah, fuck you. I don't want to pay this. And you know what? In fact, I cancel you. And the guy behind the desk was like, yeah, fucking cancel me. I cancel you. And then he had to kill him in self-defense. And there's a lot of theories of how he died. Literally hundreds of stories that we don't have time to go into, or we'll be here absolutely all night just speculating on how he died. But I will tell you some of the more popular theories. Time machine malfunction. Milkshake machine malfunction. Drowning in a river of lava.
Oh.
Which was very common in England.
I thought you were going to say drowning malfunction.
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought too.
He got too good at karate and had to be put down by the Council of Ninjas. But right before, and I mean right before Marlowe died, he had seconds left. He said, "Give me the quill, give me the pen. I'm going to write." And he was like, "I love talking about kings. I like it when a king, but also, I'm a white guy. I'm here in England." It's like, I'm going to write The Pale King. I think that's what I'll write. And he got pretty far before he died on it. He got pretty far. He got about 400 or 500 pages in, and then he died. He was, his friend Shakespeare included him in a play. The Romeo and Juliet was actually inspired by Shakespeare and Marlowe's relationship, which lead many to speculate that not only were both of them gay, but both were the boy and the girl, both Romeo and Juliet. It just depends on which conspiracy theorist you talk to. And then Marlowe faked his death a la Juliet. But that's for the listeners to decide for themselves on, I almost said house hunters, history detectives. We'll be right back.
God damn it.
And that's the real story. What happened?
I also like the idea that he changed the ending of Romeo and Juliet just enough to make it like, so Romeo doesn't like wander off being like, I'm gonna write a play about this. And it's like the fucking end of I Know Who Killed Me.
And that's what happened.
Ben, thank you. Before we move on to judgment, as always, you can write us a letter or leave us a comment, ask us a question at revisionspodcast.com, and review us on your podcast app of choice.
It's very helpful. It matters a lot for engagement and everything else. So do it.
Yeah.
We say it literally every week.
Well, and like
every other week. That's not true. We only do this podcast every other week.
I say it weekly, but once it's just sort of to the
into
cats.
the mirror at yourself in the morning.
Well, it's important for listeners to know that people go on and they leave like asshole comments or whatever. So do the opposite of that and be not an asshole. It seems small, and it is small, and that's why it's great. And you should do it because it's small yet impactful. It's real change you can make in the lives of creatives and people you enjoy listening to. So go do it, you fucking stupid bitch.
Okay,
there you go.
I mean, yeah. If you want to leave a negative comment about this podcast or any podcast,
then you got to go through me.
Like,
no,
bother?
I mean,
you have.
I don't care.
A
Leave a negative comment just with a 5-star review. I don't give a shit.
No,
that's fine.
Yeah, that's a fun challenge.
5 stars. They sound ugly. There we So, excuse me. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Ben, you do everything. You have your fingers in a lot of pies right now, comedy-wise. Comedy pies.
I really need health insurance.
I could take that again. But you host a weekly show, the Denver Comedy Underground.
Yes, it is. It's actually tri-weekly. We have one show Fridays. We have 2 shows Saturdays. A late show, 8 p.m. and God, that's not the late show. The regular show is 8, and the late show is 9:45. It's at the Irish Snug. It's always cool. It's always sold out, so get your tickets early or just come. It's like probably one of the better stand-up shows in town, in Denver, if not the world.
Perfect. You also have your YouTube channel, and you're doing a sketch a day or a character.
I'm doing a sketch/character/video every single day in 2020 to see what kind of damage I can inflict on my brain. So it's just Ben Bryant. So check that out. They're pretty good. I pray and also think that, but you can't just say that because it's not likable.
I will say it. They are very good. Also, check out Spaghetti High, which
Spaghetti
aired
High.
on Adult Swim,
Yes.
which I haven't congratulated you on in person yet.
Thank you.
Which is fucking fantastic, and it's a great series.
You're a great series. The Revisionist is a great series. And Breaking Bad's a great series.
Yeah, I put them on equal footing.
I think it goes The Wire, Breaking Bad, The Revisionists in terms of the 21st century art.
Yeah, then you have like Battlestar Galactica somewhere in there.
Battlestar Galactica, I'm sorry to tell you, is much farther down.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's how you get these negative reviews.
Oh, God, we pissed off the Galactic heads.
I'm going to go out and say it. The Wire is better than Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. I don't know why that was a show that let me down so much from its heights.
God, I would love to see a fucking fist fight between those two fan groups. Like at a Comic-Con, just the tensions finally boil over.
As way more of a Wire fan, yes, I would love to see that from someone who still insists PSG was good. Anyway. Sorry, Zach, did you want to mention anything?
Speaking of the small women we spoke of earlier, guest from last week, and my girlfriend Shannon Camp is making a audio drama version of that very book, tying in with the release of the movie. It is coming out in installments. It's about at the halfway point. I do a voice on it.
Whoa, that's dope.
Yeah, so if you want to find that, look for Little Women, a modern audio drama, wherever you get your podcasts.
It's another very good show, and the bonus episodes are also really, really interesting. As for me, I'll plug my writing for Westward, and also plug Cats 2019. Experience the magic, because it's still on my brain. But that will that brings us to the judgment portion of the show, which falls to Zach this time.
So this happened in three phases. First, there was I too have experienced the madness that is 2019's Cats. And at the beginning of the alternate history where everything was an animal pun made me begin to see it as a Cats-like reimagining of Christopher Marlowe's life. And for a long time, I was like, I cannot possibly vote willingly for Cats 2019. But at the last minute, I couldn't resist the urge to say, Ben Bryant, you are the Jellicle choice.
Jellicle, baby. That's how you fucking pronounce that.
If you see the movie, they say it roughly 5,000 times.
When that first song hit, I was like, okay. Then they hit Jellicle after Jellicle, and I was like, I'm all in. I was like weeping in the first song. Laughing so hard.
Don't be too excited, because this means you have to go to the Heaviside Lounge, which, as far as I can tell, means you have to die.
Heaviside Lair?
Lair.
Which makes even less sense.
Whatever it's called.
Whoa.
And then a naked Idris Elba cat, who seems more naked than a naked human person would be, is just like... Anyway, that's a spoiler.
A naked, regularly furred animal is a special kind of trauma.
Yeah.
Like when the Looney Tunes would... I'm going to just keep hammering this. This is going to be my recurring bit. But if Daffy got his feathers blown off or something, or when Bugs Bunny would roll up his sleeves and reveal that fucking pink skin
with a little individual hair poking out here and there.
It's more naked than naked.
Yeah. This is not our Cats cast, which is something I would eagerly listen to at this point. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Zach, Ben, thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for... you didn't have me. I do it every time.
Yeah, thank you. Still. Anyway, for everyone here at The Revisionists, I've been Scrimbleshanks the Railway Cat.
Yeah, Scribbleshanks is a real... I've been... Amy Two Dots? What's her fucking name? Something like that.
Jenny Annie Dots.
Jenny Annie Dots.
Yeah, I mean, you do strike me as more of a magical
No,
Mr. Mistopheles.
I've been old Deuteronomy because I did the choice.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. God, Gus. Gus was fucking Ian McKellen cat.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, man. Anyway, have a good time.
Have a good time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.